Good morning. Welcome to Biking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. So I get the question a lot in two forms. We'll treat it as one question. Where is a good place to live in the Ozarks? And do you know any good realtors that can help me? We're coming. We need a good realtor. Who do you recommend? Let's deal with the last one first. Where in the Ozarks is a good place? It's all good. I haven't found a bad place in the Ozarks. I wouldn't go to the cities. There are cities in the Ozarks, Harrison, Springfield, Joplin, the corridor, all in there. I wouldn't be in those cities. But those cities have jobs depending on what kind of job you need, right? So you could live outside of those cities. Or if you're not worried about that, then you could live anywhere. I haven't found a bad place. So yeah, I recommend the whole Ozarks. Look on a map. A lot of people send me questions that you could have just Googled. Hey, I'm looking for a place in the Ozarks. Is there a good place south of I-40? There is no Ozarks south of I-40. It's not the Ozarks down there. It's flat. They grow rice. So there's that. I don't know a bad place. Do you know a good realtor you can recommend? No, I don't. I don't know any good realtors. I know two. In my entire life, I've met two good realtors. I think realtors are the most unprofessional professionals out there. And I've dealt with a lot of them. In 20 years in the military and 8 years in federal service, I moved a lot. My family moved a lot. We bought and rented and sold houses a lot. They're just unprofessional. They just are. I've had two good realtors in all that time. And when I say a lot, my son was 8 years old living in his 8th house. And none of these were moves across town. They were so there's that. What to do? How to find a good realtor? You're not. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Pick an area where you want to live. That area is either based on job or what you can afford. You got to know what you can afford before you even start, or you're wasting your time. It's amazing to me the number of people I meet face to face, and they're like, yeah, I'm looking for a place. And I'm like, okay, how much money are you willing to spend? You can tell they haven't really thought about that. Well, dude or dudette, you got to know what your top end is. I'm willing to spend $500,000. I'm willing to spend $500. It doesn't matter what it is. You got to know what it is in your head. Clearly, you want to spend less than that. But what's your top end? And then what are your minimums? What must you have on this piece of heaven for you to even consider buying it? Must-haves. Know your must-haves. It must be at least 5 acres. It must be at least 500 acres. Whatever. What are your can't-haves? It cannot have this. It cannot be on a paved highway. It cannot be a multifamily dwelling, a townhouse or something. I don't know. Whatever it is for you. You got to know. And then your nice to haves and your nice not to haves. You should have that all in your head before you even step foot one in the Ozarks. And this advice applies to people who want to go to a certain part of the Appalachians or Idaho or, whatever. Know what you want, know what you need. Wants and needs. All right, so here's what you do. You either find a job where you want to live, or if you have the type of job, trades come to mind that you can kind of work anywhere. Okay, then you've got to narrow down your search. The Ozarks is pretty big. You've got to narrow down your search to kind of where you want to look. Go there on vacation. Take 2 weeks. Go be prepared to drive around a lot. And that's what you're going to have to do. Drive around. Get in your car and drive all up and down the country roads. Here's why. In the Ozarks, at least, there will be a sign on the front of a property that says, hey, for sale, this real estate company, this agent, here's a phone number. And you'll go to the website of that company and that property won't even be listed. But it is actually for sale. You got to get a hold of you have to get a hold of the agent who's listing it. Oh yeah, I just put that up a week ago. Haven't got it up on the internet webs yet. But yeah, would you like to look at it? Yeah. So you're going to have to drive around. There's a lot of things for sale by owner. That's the thing. If you're buying, you got to know if you're buying raw land or a house. I think a lot of people coming from urban areas where you either live in an apartment, a townhouse, or condo, or you live in a house on a little quarter acre or less piece of land, have unrealistic expectations for moving out to the country. And one of those is, I'd like to get a place on an acre or two. You're not gonna. Nobody sells land in the country around here an acre or two. I mean, they just don't do it. You could get an acre lot in town, one of these little country towns, and that's not, I didn't say city. There's towns all over the place. You could get an acre lot in town. You could get a couple acre lot in town. So if that's what you want, you're going to be in town. But people out in the country, out here, they don't sell things by the acre. 5 acres is the least I've seen for sale. 5. But you're going to have to drive around. When you see signs, call those realtors up and say, hey, I'm in town for a week, a day, whatever. I'm looking for land to buy. I want at least, and here's where you give your must-haves. It's got to be at least 20 acres. I'm looking at spending upwards of this much money, but clearly I want to spend less. You got anything like that? In our area, what they try to do, they all do. They must have learned this at their conference or something. They try to get you to sign a contract, an exclusivity contract. Let's say I'm the realtor, and you say, hey, Joe, I'm looking at a piece over here in Ava, and I'm wondering if you can help me out with that. I'm like, yeah, I tell you what, why don't you come on in the office? We'll talk about what you want. Actually, they're not even that friendly. Well, some of them can be. Anyway, what they try to do is get you to sign paperwork saying that I am the only one who's going to sell you property and show you property. And they really push that hard. Don't sign it. If you sign that, you're locked into somebody who could be a loser, horrible real estate agent. You're not going to find anything. Do what I did. Contact 3 or 4 of them. Tell them all, this is what I'm looking for. Do you have anything that fits that? They're going to say, well, we got a lot of good opportunities here. Come on in and sign a contract. It's like, no, here's what we're going to do. You show me the property I want, I'll buy it through you. But if you don't, I'll buy it from somebody else. Some of them say, well, sir, that's not how we do it. You say, thank you very much. Goodbye. You don't want those people. And so sometimes that'll work. But you have to drive the country roads. I'm telling you, they just don't understand the internet out here in the Ozarks very well. Heck, half the places you don't get good internet service. Ask me how I know. So yeah, don't sign an exclusivity contract. Do driving around, find what you want, and then start the negotiations on it. On land, if you're going to buy raw land, and I don't recommend that you all do, but if you're going to buy raw land, it is difficult to get financing for raw land, like through a bank. They just don't like doing that. So most land is sold by owner, and so you actually sign a contract with the owner. It typically requires 10 to up to 20% down and then payments. So have that in mind. You're going to have some money down for land. Another thing is if you want to go into a place with a house, a lot of the houses in the Ozarks are trailers. It's hard to get a bank to loan on trailers, like almost impossible. They just don't want to do it. And so, once again, you're stuck with doing owner financing. And the people selling it know that. But that just means you're going to have the money. All right. So, no, I don't know any good realtors. Again, you're going to have to do your own due diligence. Once you get on the ground, I know you're sitting in your comfy place, you're drinking your coffee, and you're thinking, I just want to contact a realtor, have it all set up for me when I show up and have them drive me around. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I actually thought about getting a real estate license and selling like bug out properties because I could do it right. My son's friend is a real estate agent in Florida, and he was selling real estate up in Kansas for a while before he moved. He was a professional real estate agent, and he was like, I don't know, 22 or something when he started. But man, that guy was squared away. He did his job, and now he's killing it down in Florida. So there you go. They exist. They're out there. They're just rare birds. If you're feeling the urge to move, I suggest you take some time off of work, come on out here and start driving around and start looking. And so I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just don't know any good real estate agents. We bought our property through United Country Realty. They sell rural property all throughout the U.S. That's not an agent. That's just a company. I'm not saying they're the only ones, and I haven't bought any rural property anytime lately, so I don't even know if they're any good anymore. But that's who we bought it from, United Country Realty. They have local offices everywhere. It's a good place, and they have a decent website. You could go there and start perusing properties online, and that might get you started. You know, you find 5 or 6 in a 2-hour radius. Go to the town in the middle, check into a hotel, and start the drive every day. All right, and they don't do much on Sundays around here, so think about that. All right, I wish you luck. Time may be of the essence. You may have to be moving quicker than normal, but do not panic. Think it through. Take action. I'll see you out here.